All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Truly Gifted Hoops. Today I have Coach George. Coach George, I don't want to do your intro, so I'm gonna let you do it yourself, man.
Hey, my name is Coach Anthony George. I am the head women's basketball coach for One of One Prep Academy here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm also the owner of Carolina Courts, and I'm one of the directors for Lady Attack Elite here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Coach. I'm gonna get right into the Q&A. Again, I wanted to say congratulations on a successful trip to Florida. I know the girls were probably excited to compete, especially out of state. I think that brings a different kind of excitement. So want to say congratulations to that. So just tell me, how did you get into coaching, and more specifically, ultimately, one-on-one?
Yeah, it's a great question. So after my playing career, I went to Belmont Abbey College. I played there from 2007 to 2011. After my playing career was over, I knew I wanted to coach. I did my senior thesis paper was transition from player to coach. So I knew it was in my blood. I really wanted to do it. I actually got the opportunity to coach at Belmont Abbey the year after I graduated, which was great. Got a lot of experience, and then kind of moved down here to Union County. Was able to get a job at Cuthbertson on the boys side. So Cuthbertson High School, which is in Union County. I was there for 7 years, and then a job opportunity opened up at Piedmont, also in Union County, on the girls side to be the head women's basketball coach. I was hired to do that. So I did that for 2.5 years. That was during COVID. And then after that experience was over, we started One of One Prep, and kind of from there, we're in year 3 now, and it's been a really, really great transition for me. I'm with girls that want to be in the gym, want to get better on a year-round basis. Just selfishly for me, it's been a joy, and kids wanting to be in the gym, and myself being in the gym, it's a great experience. So it's been real fun for the first 3 seasons.
Awesome. Yeah, to echo that, I see, like, the more and more I'm in the gym, I kind of see who is like really focused on getting better. And to your point, like, I notice I start seeing those same people always in the gym. I mean, and so, it's kind of, I guess you could say, a blessing to be able to work with those kind of players like that just want to be in the gym. I got a daughter who I'm trying to, groom her to play basketball later, and elevate her skills. And I'm just waiting for that light bulb to turn on to where, she really is motivated to want to get in the gym. So, shout out to those players that you work with that, just stay in the gym. That's awesome. What other teams and organizations are you affiliated with that deal with basketball in general, and what age groups do you coach?
Yeah, sure. So like I mentioned a little earlier in my intro, I'm with Carolina Courts, and our girls basketball entity is Lady Attack. Lady Attack has been around since 2016. During COVID, our girls started to age out of like the grassroots, so we went more into like the higher level elite travel kind of realm. And I've been with that since, like I said, 2016. Currently, I'm the 17U national head coach for Lady Attack Elite. I've been with that group since they were in 8th grade. Obviously, kids have changed, teams changed, but I've been with that age group since those girls were in 8th grade. So, real excited to help them finish out their careers in travel. We have a excellent group of girls playing with us this year, and you're going to hear some about them all season for their high school teams, but just really tremendous group of kids. I also coach our 16U national team as well, along with Coach Jalen Osby. He's the head coach at South Lake Christian, and we're excited about that. We have a ton of really talented kids that will definitely turn some heads and already getting some college interest and college recruitment. So those 2 groups I'll be coaching this year, and I'm extremely excited about not just the groups, but the kids, the coaching staffs, the families. It's going to be a really exciting spring and summer for us.
Wow, man. I'm excited for you, honestly. I go to a lot of the local games, and just being on the sidelines, I'm hyped up, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like, girls basketball, man, it's different, man. I'll just put it that way. It's different. So I can only imagine what you go through, like, emotionally as a coach on the sidelines.
It's up and down for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely a roller coaster, but you gotta stay the course, and it's about seeing these kids grow and helping them out. So, but yeah, emotions are high always, and get good kids around you, good groups around you. It goes great. So
for sure. So you talked about it briefly, but give us a summary of what the trip was like in Florida. What are some things you liked about your team's performance, and what are some improvements that you'd like to see from your players?
Yeah, so we competed at the Insider Exposure Thanksgiving Classic, which is held in Jacksonville. This is our second year going down there, and for our girls and the experience for them, I think it was good. It opened up some eyes on kind of what we need to work on, but we were able to face some tough competition nationally and internationally. We played a really solid group out of Canada, Niagara Prep, our first night, and then we played a group out of Maryland, and then a group out of Florida. So we were able to see kind of a lot of different styles of basketball, and we finished 1-2. Really tough game to end, lost by 2 points. But those are the type of games that I think are going to help us as we get into our league play. But overall, the experience for those kids and seeing that level of talent all in the gym, it was packed with college coaches. It's just a really good environment for girls that are making that next step into playing at a higher level and hopefully obviously playing in college. So it definitely opened some eyes for us, kind of what we need to work on. And it gave us some really good experience that I think is going to help us as we move forward.
Awesome. Yeah, and I can't say enough about just putting those girls in that environment where they're getting that additional exposure that they might not get just here inside of the state. So,
sure.
That's awesome. Shout out to you for that, Coach. So as a owner of Carolina Courts and just really being, a huge part of the basketball culture here in the city of Concord and Charlotte, how would you describe the culture of women's basketball here locally?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's much improved from when I from when I moved down here. Obviously, girls basketball has always been a big deal in Charlotte, and there's been some great players. But I think the level of attention and the people that are steering the ship of women's basketball in the greater Charlotte area is incredible. You got some great coaches. You got some really, really good scholastic high school programs in the area. And then you got some of the very best travel basketball organizations nationally. And I think, the more that I can do or we can do to push the girls' game, the better off. And you're starting to see some really, really big numbers for college basketball viewership. Obviously, they had that game a couple weeks ago with Caitlin Clark here in Charlotte, and the numbers they drew. And I think you're going to start seeing more and more of that. But it's really, really great to see the grassroots and how important and how much emphasis women's basketball is getting. And I think obviously it's only going to grow. But I think the people that are steering the ship, the coaches, the directors, the admin, the athletic directors in this greater Charlotte area, they're doing a phenomenal job, and I hope we continue to work together and push this game forward. But it's been really, really great to see the growth in just this short few years.
Yeah, I think the fact that I think it was CLT Sports that sponsored that event, and it was Ally who put that Iowa State and Virginia Tech game together.
Yep.
I actually, I took my daughter to that game because I wanted her to see what elite level college women's basketball looks like. And I think she understood, what that means. Seeing those girls just compete ferociously, like, I
Sure.
wanted her to see that. And it's, to your point, it's a testament to how women's basketball is growing in this area, because I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, I wouldn't think that they would bring a game like that to the city of Charlotte, but
Sure.
to have that game here was pretty impactful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of the favorite tournaments that you like to compete in throughout the year, if you had a few to name?
Yeah, so I mean, for these scholastic events that we're doing during school season, for one-on-one, Inside Exposure does a really, really tremendous job. Like I mentioned earlier, we went to Jacksonville for the Thanksgiving Classic, and he's getting teams from all over the country and outside of the country. So it's a great experience to kind of put your kids in that position. And then there's another event that it's his second year that he's doing for Inside Exposure, the Cherokee Invitational, which is at the Harris Hotel and Casino. That happens right before Christmas in December. This is year 2, and what's really special about that event is not only is there going to be a 48 team scholastic field of high school girls, they're actually going to do a number of college women's basketball games during our event. So not just the high school event, we're going to be mixing it in with some Division I basketball as well. So not only are they get to play in a really great field, but they're also going to be able to watch some great college basketball as well. And John McGraw, who runs Inside Exposure, like I said, this is his second year doing it, and I think that, as far as the event that we went to last year scholastically, was by far our favorite and the best experience for our kids and our families. It was a great thing. Non-scholastic events for AAU, travel ball, I mean, there's a million of them. There's good ones locally. There's good ones, abroad, out there. We really enjoy Run for the Roses. That is a NCAA live event that they do in Louisville, Kentucky every year. Massive number of teams, like I said, internationally, nationally, all across the country. They do a phenomenal job. And like I said, there's a lot of good local events too to push your kids. But those are, I would say, my favorite scholastic and non-scholastic events. And then I have to mention the fall league that Bowler Hoops does. This is year 2 that Kevin and myself have been working on this league, and it really, you saw the growth from year 1 to year 2, but it truly prepares your kids to play before the season starts. And this year our field grew. We went from 6 to 8 teams, but the talent, the attention of the league grew. And really what it's about is getting these kids in game and team shape before the season starts. And no doubt, I think it's the best fall high school basketball league for women's basketball. Definitely in the area. And Kevin did a phenomenal job this year, continuing to grow the brand. And we're excited for year 3, and we're working on some fun stuff for the summer as well. So just kudos to Bowler Hoops and Carolina Courts and Carolina Rise for their year 2 league. It was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. And I built a relationship with those folks who organize Ball Her. And I've gone to all of Cannon's home games. So Kevin's been really helpful in helping me to bridge that gap and just build that relationship. So
yeah, Kevin does a great job. He's one of those guys I was talking about earlier that helps steer the ship for women's basketball in the area. I think he, as far as what he's been able to do and the platform that he's allowing some of these girls to get, I think is awesome. And the follow up, and they do a great job over there. So it's great to work with him and help push this girl's game.
Awesome. And this is a kind of a general question, but what are your favorite things about coaching basketball?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a cliche answer, but like seeing the development of the kids over a course of a time, right? Like seeing the growth, seeing stuff translate from practice or training to a game. That's always the fun part, seeing these kids grow, helping them get to where they want to go. That's the most important. I think selfishly, being in my my mid-30s, I don't get to play anymore. I don't get to get up and down the court, but competitively, the chess match between you and another coach, keeping your mind sharp. I love that part of it. I love competing. You'll see me on the sidelines. I'm going crazy, but I'm locked in, and that's kind of what I do to stay competitive and keep my mind sharp. So I would say, like, personally and selfishly, I love that part of it. But obviously, seeing your team and your kids grow from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, or the summer through to the fall, it's important. And I, those are my favorite, traits of coaching for myself. So.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll say, I think the first time I saw you coach, after we connected on social media, was at the Providence Day scrimmage, and I observed the intensity in which you approach the game, and as a fan of the game, that's something that I appreciate, in just coaching, like. And it was funny because I was trying to think, like, what is your voice? So, like, your voice reminds me of somebody. I just can't think of it yet, but when I do figure it out, I'm gonna bring it to your attention. But it's
there you go. And just to piggyback on what you said, another great event is that BD Super Scrimmage. He's been doing it for tens, I think at least 15 plus years, and the amount of attention from college coaches, but the level of talent that comes in the gym for that event is unmatched, and there's nothing like it for preseason hoops. So kudos to Coach Springer and Providence Day for running that scrimmage. I've been doing that. I was doing that scrimmage before I even started 101. I was doing with Providence. When I was at Piedmont, and it's an awesome experience for the girls, and giving them the opportunity to play in front of those college coaches before the season starts. It's a tremendous thing. So kudos to them, and continue that great work.
Awesome. Yeah. And that was something I did notice too, was there were a lot of college coaches and recruits, or recruiters, sitting up in the stands. So again, that is just so awesome for the girls who are playing and looking to go to that next level, getting that exposure. So with that, what relationships would you say have impacted you the most in your career?
Yeah, I mean, as far as my career goes, obviously my relationship with my parents, that was huge for me. Obviously, work ethic, understanding what you need to do to take care of your family and do that at the best you can be, not just being present at home, but being all you can do at work, and that's been huge for me. Watching with my parents, seeing that work ethic. And then the relationships that I've been able to build as a coach, right, with families. Some of these kids, I was coaching them when they were in 3rd and 4th grade. Now they're off playing in college. And that is something that has been awesome. There's some other girls that I started working with when they were in 6th, 7th grade. Now they're playing internationally professional basketball. So, like, being able to kind of see that growth and seeing, the young adults they're becoming and what they're going to try to do after they get out of basketball and they drop, when they put the ball down for good, has been really, really special too. So I would say those two things, and it's really gratifying seeing that growth on a personal, just seeing them become, young adults and professionals. It's an amazing thing.
Awesome, man. And I know they appreciate it, getting to that next level and having someone who's just completely invested in them, because I realized, like, just being alongside my daughter and going to work out with trainers and going to games on the weekends and all the time that gets put into this, sometimes as parents, we might forget about the coaches who are there, sacrificing time away from their families to help get these girls ready for games and get them ultimately ready for the next level, is a huge, it's a huge sacrifice. So, yeah, I
think that gets overlooked a lot, as far as, like, when you're so, you're so into it, you're so engulfed into the game. people forget, like, these coaches have families, they got kids, they got wives, they got some. Most of these coaches aren't coaching full time, so they got their full time jobs.
Yeah.
So I think that does get overlooked. But when you're dealing with great kids and you're in a great program, they appreciate that. I mean, I'm still getting happy Thanksgivings and happy holidays from people that I coached 5-6 years ago. So you know that there are tons of people that do respect that, and also they really think that's a big deal. So I do agree with you, and it is nice when somebody remembers you and thanks you for the work and the time you put in with their kid or the program. So that's great.
Yeah. So again, shout out to you, man. Like I've only just met you, but like I said, the things that I've observed, I know just in my experience and my love for the game, like I know you approach the game with, complete and utter passion for the game. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And my last question is, who would you describe as a mentor, and how have they helped you get to where you are today?
All right, so I have two, and I'll go through them pretty briefly. So the first one is Coach Jason Williams. Jason is currently the head women's basketball coach at the University of South Carolina Upstate. Jason was my coach at Belmont Abbey College on the men's side. And he taught me a ton, not just about obviously X's and O's in the game, but I left New York at 18. I went down to North Carolina, didn't know anybody. Jason at the time was young. He was in his mid-20s and kind of helped me, learn the way and make me feel comfortable in an uncomfortable environment, right? Being used to New York and the fast pace and all that stuff. Jason helped me out a lot there and helped me grow to love not just North Carolina, but one of the better guys that there are in basketball. Tremendous skill development guy. Taught me a lot on personal training and teaching kids the right way to do stuff with footwork and shooting technique. Just a tremendous man. Started coaching on the women's side at Belmont Abbey and growing them to be a national powerhouse. He was there for several years and grew it up. So, blew up that program and got the opportunity to be a head coach over at USC Upstate. And he's in, I think, year 2 there, and he's doing a tremendous job and just really excited for him, and just something that we're going to always be, I have 1,000 people in my phone directory. There's only 100 million coaches. He's the only one that's just coach. He's just coaching my phone. So I'll always, remember him, and we have that great relationship. And then the second person that I can't, not mention is Coach Mike Helms. Mike Helms is currently the athletic director over at Parkwood High School. Mike hired me he was the AD over at Cuthbertson. I worked under him for about 7 years at Cuthbertson on the boys' side. Just a tremendous family man, great basketball coach, taught me a ton. Still running a ton of his plays that he ran. So keeping those plays alive and then keeping his spirit there. But another great guy, just great for the community. And I live out in Waxhaw now, and he taught me a lot about that area, and that's where he was from. So just a great guy and just awesome. So those two are probably my I guess you'd say my mentors and inspiration on coaching for sure. Those are my two favorites.
Awesome. I gotta get this question in, and this is kind of an impromptu, but
sure,
because of your experience, I know you can answer it. So what would you say to a coach or a program director for either a travel team? What would you say to them if they were looking to build a successful program? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, number one, and I tell people this when they're starting a program, you have to have great coaches and great people involved on the grassroots level. First, second, third grade. Get them to touch a basketball. I mean, I think getting people involved at that younger level to develop that love of the game and keeping them in the gym at that young age will help your program at the highest level. It's really, really, it's hard. I mean, to just to acquire kids, and that takes a lot of time. But if you're able to build a solid foundation at the younger levels and see them through, that would be my number one thing. Try to get the best people involved in the youngest part of your program and build up that way. I've seen it with my program on both the boys side and the girls side. For Lady Attack and Attack 365 and CC Elite, you have great people involved when they're young. They want to stay a part of the program. They understand the development's a huge piece. And, you may lose a kid, one or two kids, along the way. And that's just the nature of the beast. With everything going on in the world of sports right now, that's just how it works. But if you have a great foundation, you can pick and pluck kids and make sure that they're in the right positions. And just that foundational building of them when they're young, and the building of the love of the game is super important. So that would be my number one. Try to get the best people involved when they're very, very young, so they fall in love with the game.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks, Coach. I just want to say happy holidays to you, and I really appreciate your time on coming on the show today. This is something new that I'm trying out, but this is just an extension of my love for the game. I want to talk to people who love the game just as much as I do. So again, I appreciate you coming on, and happy holidays to you and your family.
James, happy holidays. I appreciate you having me, and just follow up. You're doing some great work. Obviously, we just got to know each other over the last couple of months with the Ballher stuff, and I'm seeing you more around and posting on social media. You're doing a phenomenal job, and I can't tell you how appreciative coaches are and players are of the content and the media that you're providing them. I think it's overlooked, and I think you're doing a wonderful job. So keep up the great work, and I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to this podcast getting out there, and you doing many more with many other people. So good luck with this, and thank you for having me.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach.